What's going on, horror freaks? Welcome back to Fearful Features, the channel where horror takes center stage and sometimes loses its head in the process. Today, we're putting the Final Destination series under the microscope, ranking each film from worst to best based on the kills, the concept, the characters, and how well each one delivers that ever-looming paranoia that death could strike at any moment. Let's slash our way through the bullshit and get right to it.
We'll tear your soul apart. Be my victim. Fuck the prime time, bitch!
Kicking things off at the bottom of the list should surprise absolutely nobody. The Final Destination is a franchise low point. Sure, it says it's at the climax, but the lazy execution and over-reliance on cheap-looking 3D gimmicks just make it feel like a quick cash grab, and I almost guarantee that's what it is. The opening NASCAR crash, it honestly had potential in my mind, but the CGI is so janky, it kills the tension before death even gets a chance to. Most of the kills feel like unfinished video game cutscenes, the kind of over-the-top mayhem that should be fun, but ends up weightless. Instead of suspense or clever setups, we just get a weak script, flat characters, and kills that do not land. I wouldn't go as far to say it's not absolutely unwatchable, but it's definitely uninspired. A lifeless entry in the franchise that thrives on energy and dread. Alright, this is where people will disagree, and honestly, I get it. But let me say that there is a massive space between my number 6 and my number 5. Final Destination 2 does have one of the most iconic opening sequences in horror history. That highway pileup is a masterpiece of chaos. It honestly turned logging trucks into a new phobia overnight. But once that incredible opening is over, the movie just coasts along. The characters are the weakest in the franchise in my point, and are often downright annoying. The story gets tangled in its own mythology, leaning way too hard on explaining death's design instead of letting the suspense naturally build. The kills when they happen are creative and brutal, no doubt, but a great horror film needs more than just a bloody checklist. Yeah, it helps, but it just needs more. In the end, it's a fun watch with solid gore, but a weaker overall package than what is to come. After the mess that was Part 4, Final Destination 5 felt like a breath of fresh air. The suspension bridge collapse opener is top tier, intense, terrifying, and technically impressive. The tone is tighter, the visuals are more polished, and the deaths are creative again, tense, cruel, and a little playful. And while I do think it was a bit overhyped, with it being a twist ending, I think that the actual execution of how it was done throughout the entirety of the film was spot on. No spoilers, but it kind of ties everything together with a moment that reframes the entire film. It's clever, unexpected, and elevates the film's legacy. The movie has a strong cast, a return of suspense over spectacle, and a genuine love for what made the series work. Put this one high on the list. It's the comeback the franchise desperately needed. The one that started it all. Final Destination took a bold swing in the horror world. A slasher without a physical slasher? Instead of a mass killer, death itself is the antagonist. And that simple idea turned into a franchise goldmine. The plane crash premonition is still unnerving to this day. The film plays it more serious than the sequels, which gives it a more grounded, almost psychological edge. It's less about inventive deaths and more about the inevitability of fate. And that dread hangs over every scene. The cast, including Devon Sawa, Ali Larter, and Kerr Smith, delivers solid performances, and the setup of the rules of the game is strong without getting bogged down in exposition. It's the blueprint of the franchise, the film that launched 1,000 death traps. The new blood of the franchise, and what a surprise it was. Final Destination Bloodlines doesn't just revive the series, it kind of evolves it. The kills are fantastic, creative without being ridiculous, suspenseful without telegraphing every move, but what really stands out for me is a fresh concept in the 6th film of the franchise and a tighter script. This entry introduces the dread and paranoia of the original while layering in modern anxieties. It doesn't rely on nostalgia, it builds on it. And the cast is actually fairly likable in this one. It is on some of these films, but for the most part you're just there to see everybody die. The story is smarter in my opinion, and there's a brutal elegance to how death moves throughout this film. There's not really a twist when it comes to this film, but there's something that happens about the midpoint where it beautifully wraps up the franchise in a perfect little bow, and what they do with Tony Todd's character, gonna sound like a broken record because I know everybody's gonna talk about this, but it was just so beautifully done. Bloodlines feels like the long lost sequel we didn't know we needed but are thrilled to have. Still the franchise's high point, Final Destination 3 strikes the perfect balance between fun, fear, and fatalities. The roller coaster premonition is a pure nightmare, setting the stage for a movie that never slows down. Mary Elizabeth Winstead is probably the best, even still, leading character here. She gives the series its strongest protagonist, grounded, smart, and genuinely engaging. The kills are unforgettable, tanning beds, nail guns, gym weights, it's all brutal, inventive, and filmed with a stylish flair. But what really makes this one work for me is the tone. It leans into the over-the-top nature of the series without turning it into a parody. There's just enough camp to keep things entertaining and just enough dread to keep you on the edge. While I do think that the first film and 6 are probably better movies being made, this is Final Destination at its most rewatchable, more polished, and most fun. That's why it is at number 1. It's a bloody roller coaster ride you want to take again and again. But guys, that is just my ranking of this Final Destination franchise. What about you? Whatever yours is, leave it in the comments below. Let me know. And if you like this video, or if you didn't like this video, hit that thumbs up button, that subscribe button, and that notification bell to stay up to date with all the horror content I have coming your way. I'll see you guys in the next one, where I catch you with another fearful feature.